There once lived a young woman called Rebecca Thompson. Rebecca's father was from Ogun State, Nigeria, and her mother was from Edo. But the man had once worked in England as a gardener and decided all his children would carry names that sounded like they came straight out of the Queen's mouth. So in the Thompson household, you would find Rebecca, her brother Jonathan, and their sister Elizabeth eating abi with a gussie while discussing which generator was making the least noise that evening. But my people, Rebecca was no ordinary girl. She was beautiful, yes, her eyes sparkled like fresh zobo under the sun, but beauty was not her problem. Her problem was that she carried a family secret. From the day she turned 18, her grandmother, Mama Rosaline, called her into the inner room, closed the door, and whispered in a voice that sounded like someone who had swallowed pepper soup the wrong way.
Rebecca, never drink water on the weekends. Friday night till Sunday midnight, don't let ordinary water touch your throat.
Rebecca laughed. She thought Mama Rosaline was just being dramatic, the way old women sometimes are. You know the type, they tell you if you whistle at night, you'll summon a snake, or if you sleep with your legs crossed, your future husband will be crippled. But Mama Rosaline wasn't joking. She grabbed Rebecca's wrist and said again, her eyes burning like kerosene lamp,
If you do, something unthinkable will happen. Something that no Thompson must ever face again.
Now you know Nigerians, when they hear don't do this, that's exactly when their curiosity wakes up like Napa light after 3 days of blackout. For months, Rebecca obeyed. On Saturdays when the sun was frying her head like akara oil, she would sip malted juice, or anything that wasn't plain water. Her friends thought she was living soft life. They didn't know she was avoiding some ancient family disaster. But temptation is a stubborn goat. It was one Saturday afternoon in Lagos. The heat was not normal heat, it was the kind that makes you ask yourself if the sun has a personal grudge against your ancestors. Rebecca had just come back from Balogun Market, carrying bags so heavy that even her shadow was sweating. She entered her room, dropped the load, and reached for a cold bottle of pure water. She unscrewed the cap, lifted it close to her lips, and then she froze. At that exact moment, the mirror in her room shook. Not the whole wall, oh, just the mirror. And guess what she saw? Her reflection didn't move with her. The Rebecca in the mirror was smiling. But she herself wasn't smiling. The mirror Rebecca leaned closer, and with a voice like echo from a well, it said,
"One sip and you'll know why they warned you."
Rebecca dropped the water bottle so fast it rolled under the bed. She stood there shaking like a chicken in rainy season. But the thirst was killing her. Her lips felt like roasted ground nutshells. And just when she thought it was safe, she heard another sound, this time, from under the bed. It was a whisper. Slow. Deep. Almost like someone chanting her name from another world. Her heart nearly jumped out of her chest. That was when she realized, this no water on weekends business was not a joke. It was not superstition. It was a curse. But who cursed them? Why water? And why only weekends? Rebecca stood in her room, her lips drier than chin-chin left in harmattan, staring at the water bottle under her bed. The mirror wasn't moving anymore. No whispers. Nothing. Just silence. She dusted herself off and muttered,
Maybe I'm just hallucinating. Sun has fried my brain. Lego's sun is not ordinary sun. It's solar panel with anger issues.
So she decided to play smart. If she couldn't drink water, she would drink something else. She grabbed a bottle of 7-Up from the fridge and gulped it down. Instantly, she felt fine, her thirst reduced, her body calmed, and she thought,
Simple. Problem solved. Ordinary water is the issue, but 7-Up is still innocent.
But that's when the Wahala started. The following Saturday, Rebecca went to her friend Vivian's birthday party. Music was blasting, jollof rice was shining like fresh gold, and Suya was calling her name louder than the DJ. But after 2 plates of rice and 3 sticks of suya, her throat screamed.
Water! Water now!
She ran to the drinks table. Unfortunately for her, the only thing left was... guess what? Water. All the Fanta, Coke, Zobo, even pineapple juice, gone. Only a lonely pack of sachet water was sitting there like a prisoner waiting for bail. Her friends saw her sweating.
Rebecca, why are you acting like water is poison? Take and drink now. Abi, you're forming ajabota.
Rebecca smiled nervously and whispered.
You people don't understand. Water is my enemy on weekends.
Everybody burst into laughter. One guy even shouted.
Not lie. Who told you that? Did water steal your boyfriend?
Embarrassed, Rebecca grabbed one sachet, tore it open. And just as she was about to drink, her phone rang. It was Mama Rosaline.
Rebecca, I had this dream of you drinking water. Don't do it. Your grandfather tried it once and regretted it for the rest of his life.
Rebecca dropped the water immediately. Her friends looked at her like she was mad. Rebecca couldn't understand. But she knew one thing, the family rule was real, and it had consequences. From that day, Rebecca made a decision. She was going to find out the origin of this so-called weekend water curse. Who started it? Why? And most importantly, was it possible to break it? One day, she packed her bags and announced to her family.
I am going to our village in Ogun. Somebody must explain this mystery before my throat dries up permanently.
Rebecca arrived at her father's village, Ijebu Ode, on a hot Saturday morning. You know the kind of village where the air smells of roasted corn, goats walk around like they own the land, and children play football with slippers as goalposts? Yes, that one. She came with her brother Jonathan, because, let's be honest, no Yoruba girl goes to the village alone when family secrets are involved. Jonathan wasn't serious about life, but he was serious about food, and he agreed to come only after Rebecca promised him pounded yam and egusi from Mama Rosaline. As soon as they got off the bus, Mama Rosaline was waiting. Her wrapper was tied tighter than a bank loan, and her voice carried across the compound.
Rebecca, I can smell weekend thirst on your face. Have you been tempted again?
Rebecca hugged her grandmother and whispered.
Mama, I want to know the truth. Why must we never drink water on weekends? What will happen?
Mama Rosaline looked left, looked right, as if gossiping walls were listening. Then she said,
Before I tell you, you must sit under the Iroko tree and hear the story of your great-grandfather, Mr. William Thompson I.
Jonathan groaned.
Ah, story time. Can we at least eat before this family Netflix begins?
But Mama Rosaline ignored him and started.
Your great-grandfather, William, was the first man in this village to own a bicycle. In those days, he was moving like a king. He wore trousers with suspenders, polished his shoes till they blinded people, and he carried himself like he invented English language. The villagers even nicknamed him Mr. London.
Jonathan whispered.
He went to London?
London, Ke? The man never even reached Lagos that time.
She continued.
One Saturday afternoon, William came back from the farm, sweating like palm wine in dry season. He asked for water. They told him, wait, the stream is dry till evening. But William, in his stubbornness, said, Nonsense! I'm Mr. London. How can water tell me when to drink it? He went to the stream, found a small puddle, and drank from it. From that day, something strange happened. On weekends only, water rejected him.
Rebecca frowned.
How can water reject someone?
Mama leaned closer, her eyes dramatic.
Anytime he drank water on a Saturday or Sunday, his body would swell. Not with sickness, no. His belly would rise like fufu dough left too long. His cheeks would puff like a kara, and for 2 days he would look like a balloon waiting to burst. By Monday morning, Phew! It would vanish. Normal again. But it happened every weekend.
Jonathan started laughing so hard he nearly rolled on the ground.
Wait, so we are suffering because great-grandpa had weekend bloating problem? Mama, please. This is indigestion, not a curse.
Mama raised her hand.
Keep quiet, Jonathan. This is not ordinary indigestion. It passed down through blood. Each generation, one child carries it fully. And Rebecca, my dear, you are the chosen one.
Rebecca's mouth dropped open.
Why me?
Mama Rosaline pointed at her with authority.
Because when you were born, you cried without stopping for 2 days. And only stopped on a Monday morning.
The compound fell silent. Even the goats seemed to pause their chewing. She had come for answers, but now she was stuck with the title of Weekend Water Warrior. But one thing was clear to her: she couldn't live her whole life avoiding water every Saturday and Sunday. She needed to find a solution. And that meant digging deeper into William Thompson's story, even if it led her into more absurd family drama. She stood up and declared,
Mama, show me where William was buried. If this curse started with him, then maybe it can end with me.
Jonathan shook his head and muttered under his breath. Rebecca and Jonathan followed Mama Rosaline to the village graveyard. The sun was high, the air smelled of burning firewood, and the ground was covered with weeds tall enough to hide a politician's lies. Finally, Mama pointed to a crooked tombstone. Rebecca knelt and whispered,
Great-grandpa, please, release me from this weekend water curse.
Nothing happened. Not even a fly passed. Mama frowned.
Don't worry. There are men of God in this village. They know how to handle stubborn spirits.
And so began the journey to the prophets. The first prophet they met was Prophet Elijah Fire International Ministries of Signs and Wonders and Small Snacks. His church was inside a bamboo hut with a plastic chair as the altar. The prophet came out, wearing a white garment and holding a cane. Rebecca blinked.
Pastor, what's the cane for?
The prophet smiled like someone about to collect school fees.
My daughter, this cane is holy. Imported directly from Jerusalem, through Abba Market.
He raised the cane dramatically.
The only way to break your curse is discipline by divine flogging.
Before Rebecca could protest, whap! The prophet struck her on the back. She screamed.
Don't worry, my daughter. This is the holy slap of salvation.
Whap! Whap! Again and again. Jonathan laughed so hard he nearly collapsed.
This one is giving you deliverance plus gym exercise.
But after 10 minutes of holy flogging, Rebecca stood up, sweating.
Pastor, is the curse broken now?
The prophet adjusted his garment and said,
I can see improvement, but it requires another 7 sessions. And small offering for holy oil.
Rebecca groaned.
7? Offering? Pastor, this is not deliverance, this is installment payment.
They left the prophet and tried another. The second prophet wore sunglasses at night and introduced himself as Prophet Major General Apostle Worldwide. He waved his hand and declared,
The problem is not water. The problem is that your grandfather swallowed fish without praying. The spirit of that fish is disturbing you. To remove it, you must buy 1 live chicken and 2 cartons of Malta Guinness for fasting and prayer.
Jonathan shook his head.
This one just wants barbecue and soft drink.
By the third prophet, Rebecca was exhausted. Everyone had a different story. Some said it was marine spirits, some said village witches, some even said her great-grandfather owed NAPA bills. But no real solution came out. Finally, Rebecca sat down on a bench under a mango tree inside.
If prophets can't help me, then who can?
Jonathan grinned, eating roasted corn he had bought on the way.
Maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Maybe the answer isn't in the church or the grave, but in the village elders. You know those old men that drink palm wine at 7 a.m.? They know all the secrets.
Rebecca wiped her face and muttered,
Elders, prophets, curses. Is this what my life has become? All I want is to drink water in peace on Saturday.
Mama Rosaline, who had been quiet all this while, finally spoke.
Rebecca, listen to your brother. If the prophets have failed, then it's time to visit the Council of Elders. But be warned, they don't give advice for free. You must be ready to dance or sing.
The next day, Rebecca, Jonathan, and Mama Rosaline went to see the Council of Elders. Now, if you've never seen true elders before, let me explain. These men were sitting under a mango tree, bellies like drums, calabashes of palm wine in hand, arguing as if the future of Africa depended on who would get the last kola nut. As soon as they saw Rebecca, they welcomed her.
Ah, William's great-granddaughter. Sit down, sit down. You've come to seek wisdom, eh?
Rebecca nodded politely.
Yes, Baba. I want to know how to break this family curse. They told me never to drink water on weekends, but I need freedom.
The first elder, Baba Kayode, cleared his throat.
Simple solution. Just stop drinking water entirely. Replace it with palm wine. That way, curse or no curse, you'll always be happy.
The others clapped. Rebecca frowned.
Baba, if I drink palm wine every day, I'll be drunk before Wednesday.
Ah, my daughter, don't mind that one. What you need is snail soup. Eat snail every Saturday morning and the curse will crawl away.
Rebecca shook her head. The third elder, who had been quiet all this while, finally spoke. His voice was deep and slow, like someone who had swallowed too much Gary.
My daughter, this curse cannot end with food. It requires sacrifice. You must give up someone you love.
God forbid. I will never sacrifice anyone. Not Jonathan, not Mama, not even my neighbor who borrows sugar and never returns it. I reject it.
Mama Rosaline clapped her hands in approval.
Good girl. I raised your father well.
Rebecca stormed off, dragging Jonathan along. By the time they got home, she was tired, confused, and angry. She went to bed frustrated, and the next morning, just as she was trying to forget her troubles, her phone rang. It was Angela, her Christian friend from school. Angela had been preaching to Rebecca for years, always talking about how Jesus could solve any problem. But Rebecca never took her seriously.
Rebecca, how are you today?
Rebecca rolled her eyes.
Angela, please, I'm not in the mood.
That's why I'm calling you. I was praying yesterday and felt led to invite you to church with me this Sunday. God told me you'll find the answer to what's been plaguing you for years.
Rebecca sighed, but then she got an idea. What if she proved Angela wrong? What if she proved that this Christianity was all a hoax? Then Angela would stop talking about Jesus this and Jesus that.
Fine.
Thank God. I'll send you the details.
They hung up, and as Rebecca sat on her bed, she stared at the bottle of water on her table. Saturday was approaching again, and the weekend curse was waiting. That Sunday morning, Angela came to Rebecca's house bright and early. She dragged her out of bed, dressed her up, and said,
Today, no excuses. You're coming with me to church.
Rebecca followed reluctantly, but as soon as she entered the church, she felt different. The atmosphere wasn't like the prophets' huts or the elders' palm wine meeting. The choir was singing with fire, the people were praying with power, and Rebecca felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, peace. The service was intense. The pastor preached about freedom, about how no curse was stronger than the name of Jesus. Rebecca sat there, listening with her mouth slightly open. For once, her heart was soft. At the end of the service, Angela didn't waste time. She pulled Rebecca straight to the pastor's office.
Pastor, this is my friend, the one I told you about.
The pastor looked at Rebecca with kind but steady eyes.
My daughter, are you ready to be free?
Rebecca hesitated, then nodded slowly.
Yes, I'm tired. I want freedom.
They began to pray. At first, Rebecca closed her eyes politely, the way you do when you're waiting for someone to finish. But suddenly, something inside her began to stir. Her hands shook, her legs trembled, and before she knew it, she was on the floor, crying and shouting words she didn't even understand. The pastor and Angela didn't stop praying. They prayed harder. The room filled with authority, like heaven itself had entered. And then, with a loud cry, it broke. The spirit that had held her family for generations left her. Just like that, gone. Rebecca lay on the floor, breathing heavily, but lighter than she had ever felt in her life. The pastor asked,
Bring water.
Angela rushed to fetch a bottle of water. They opened it and handed it to Rebecca. She looked at it nervously. It was Sunday. Her worst day. But she took a sip. Then another. Then she drank the whole bottle. Nothing happened. No swelling. No fear. Just water. Ordinary, sweet, refreshing water. Tears rolled down Rebecca's cheeks. She fell on her knees and said,
Jesus. From today, I am yours. I give you my life. No more running. No more fear.
And from that day forward, Rebecca Thompson served God with all her heart. She became a testimony in her family, in her city, in her village, and everywhere she went. The girl who once feared water on weekends was now flowing with living water all the days of her life.